everyone, my name is the Theme Park Evangelist. Well, it has once again been another week, and here we are again. Unfortunately, once again on a Tuesday, because apparently Mondays have been so busy for me lately that I haven't always been able to do my brand new YouTube series on how you can stay faithful and focus on God even during difficult times. As sad as that is. But that's okay because Tuesdays have been a different story. So last Tuesday, ironically, I did have to work, but this Tuesday I am not working. Well, every single week is different. Like tomorrow, I'm supposed to be off, but there's a chance I could get called in for tomorrow. But it's still early. It's only 2:40, so we will see what happens. I am actually currently on the DoorDash app right now. I am one order away from 100. So, yeah, as you see, I am on the DoorDash app right now. I'm just, checking back every now and then. Actually, give me a second while I fix something. Sorry about that. That cord is already stretching as far as it possibly can, so I just want to make sure it was still plugged in. So, yeah, I haven't actually been doing DoorDash all that much over the past couple of weeks because, first of all, I've actually been working more, which is good, as my hotel is getting near the end of the year, so they only have so much time left to deep clean the insane amount of rooms that they have left before the end of the year. And it is a requirement, I guess, for my hotel. I don't know for the hotel industry in general to deep clean all of these rooms before the end of the year. It is hard to say, but anyway, and then, of course, I was also in Canada, so I took a week off from that, too. So, I was originally at, 70 orders in the past 30 days, and I've dropped down to about 40 in the past 30 days, which is very low. I can go ahead and switch to platinum status now, but I had a really bad customer last night. I mean, I did everything correctly. I was just a little behind because, I made the mistake of not turning on Google Maps right away, and I took the long way, which ended up costing me a little extra time. But otherwise, I did everything correctly. Wendy was like, "Hey, just so you know, this guy's, or sorry, we're out of baked potatoes. So you're gonna have to tell your customer that we don't have it." So I did the correct thing, and I went on the DoorDash app, and I put down that they were out of baked potatoes. Or I just said item unavailable. It didn't even give me a choice to do item substitute or anything. It just said, "All right, we've already refunded the customer. Thank you. You're good." And I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I'm good in that sense." So, customer literally came out from their mobile home as I was walking away, grabbed the food and went back inside, and literally gave me an immediate 1-star rating. I guess they were that mad that they didn't get their freaking baked potato. I was like, really? Your baked potato was that important? I'm just like, what? So, yeah, if I get another 5-star rating in there, I'll be back in business and maybe I'll get to platinum status, so that would be awesome. So we are officially a week away from Christmas Eve, as crazy as that is. And tomorrow will be a week away from Christmas Day. My job is actually doing a gift exchange tomorrow. I ain't going because I don't got money for that, and I don't really know anybody at my job well enough to say, "Oh yeah, 100%, I'm coming." And my managers better not text me and go, "David, are you coming?" I'm gonna be like, "No." So I'll deal with that when the time comes. But anyway, um, so I'm, very happy that, I'm getting some hours, getting some door dashing, and back. I'm finally getting my life back to some kind of normalcy again, just because of the fact that I was living with my parents there for a short period of time with the car situation. But I will safely say that as of this week, my life is 100% back to normal again. Yes, I did have to do my laundry at my parents' place yesterday. I could have held off, but I chose not to. I was like, well, I'm already going to be out there, and I don't really have anything going on. I was off and everything, so I figured. Sorry, I was checking the DoorDash app again. So I figured, why not just go ahead and get it taken care of? Yes, it didn't have to be done right then and there, but I'm also not one to procrastinate either. So speaking of not liking to procrastinate, let's go ahead and spend the rest of the few minutes that I have before we get into the actual topic on upcoming vlogs, because I'm sure some of you are looking forward to hearing my weekly update on upcoming vlogs before we get into the actual discussion topic. So, first of all, Thursday night is my final out of the apartment, house, whatever you want to call it, Christmas vlog for the year. I'm very sad about that. I mean, unless you want to count the New Year's Eve celebration at Kings Island, which I guess you can because it's after Christmas, but it's however you want to make of it. But in my opinion, this Thursday night is the final out of the house Christmas vlog for the year. But some of you may disagree, like the Ohio Joneses might say, no, it's not. You just said that you're doing the New Year's Eve celebration. Anyway, so on Thursday night, I'm going down to the Ark Encounter. So this time Katie's going to come to me after I get done work. I don't know what time she'll be over. So my plan is to just come back here and take a nap until she's done. And then I figured I would just have her stop at the grocery store on her way here. Or we can even go to Walmart really fast, which is just up the road from me. And we can go ahead and get whatever we need. I don't know how she wants to do it, but we'll discuss this later before we go to premarital counseling. And then, which we got all the homework done yesterday, thank goodness. So, we'll go ahead and get the groceries we need, bring it back to the apartment, and then we'll go ahead and head to the Ark from there. We'll spend a little time there. I don't know how long. The plan is to go see True Song do their Christmas performance. Go see what else they got going on in the Answer Center that's worth watching. We're also going to walk around, look at the lights, check out the laser show on the Ark. Obviously, we got to go ride the carousel. That's a must for me and Katie, for that matter. We'll go down to the zoo. Maybe my roommate will be working. You guys might get to see him, even though he drives me crazy. But still gotta live with him for another several months. And then we'll see what else there is to see, and we'll go ahead and head back here, have some dinner, and then Katie's going to go ahead and head home from there. Friday, I don't go until 3, but unfortunately, I don't really have anything special planned per se for Friday or Saturday. I have been actually meaning to do a my surprise weekly vlog. I have not decided if I want to do it tomorrow, which it sounds like tomorrow Katie's going to be getting off earlier, so that's why I'm going to be doing my door dashing out in Florence. But if I have the time, I'll go ahead and do my weekly surprise vlog out there, or I might go ahead and do it later tonight, depending on how DoorDash goes tonight, because usually they shop delivery about 11:30, and then I'll stay up a little bit later, and I'll do some more vlogging when I get back to the apartment. I just have to talk a little quieter, that's all. But I'll schedule it for tomorrow at like 5 p.m. That way everybody can see it. So, anyway, then next Tuesday, Katie has been gracious enough to pay for us to stay at Homewood Suites in Florence, Kentucky. We're gonna go check out that Hilton. This will be my third Hilton I have stayed at since I started the job, and that vlog will actually go live on my Facebook page, facebook.com/the theme park evangelist, and my YouTube channel, youtube.com/the theme park evangelist, on Christmas Day next Wednesday. And then finally, besides the Kings Island vlog that everybody already knows about, I will also be doing my annual Merry Christmas from the Theme Park Evangelist and Katie, and that will be filmed live at my parents' condo once again this year, next Wednesday. And it's a very quick, less than 5 minute vlog, and even though it is pre-recorded, it is still filmed live and then instantly uploaded to my YouTube channel, so that's why I say that, and then posted directly to my Facebook page. Alright, let's go ahead and get into today's topic. I still got time. It's still saying that Dash Now is unavailable, so let's go ahead and get into my topic, which basically was how difficult was it for me to focus on being an AB student during high school. So I've decided that since I've been very nostalgic lately, I wanted to spend some of my very first vlogs just talking about my high school days. A lot of the time, I think a lot of my problem why I've been so discouraged lately, aside from financial situations, is, as I'm getting really close with Katie, I've noticed that, Katie's starting to peel back some of the layers on me, so to speak, and she's starting to find out that a lot of the problem I have with being open is just I'm trying too hard to live in the past. Not necessarily in the past in general, but in my past. And that's another reason why I'm actually very thankful for this brand new YouTube series, because it helps me not just to talk about my past, but it helps me to share with you guys that with God's help and with Katie, that I've been able to slowly but surely start letting go of my past and focus more on the present. But it's beyond that. It's also the fact that, with God's help, I can also focus on becoming a better person. But I feel like for me specifically right now, the only way for me to focus on becoming a better person is to first let go of my past. So, as much as, I dread certain things that have happened in my life, which we'll eventually get there, but right now I'm just wanting to touch up on certain areas. And I know it seems strange that I'm starting the YouTube channel off with high school, because I don't want to just talk to the adults here. I want to talk to the kids too. I want to talk to those teenagers that might be watching. I don't know who all is going to be watching this, truthfully, but I'm, praying and hoping that somebody will watch these earlier vlogs and know that, I'm not just here to preach. I'm here to share that, at one point, yes, this 31-year-old was a 17-year-old or whatever. And, I'm willing to share with you guys that, at one point, I was destined to be a AAB honor student and have a strive for having perfect attendance. I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, I was. that was like my life goal there. Before I go any further, I just suddenly start craving juice for whatever reason. I get the strangest cravings at the strangest times. Like today, I was craving General Tso's. Like I know I have all this cereal, I know I have all this milk. I finally have a refrigerator full of juice and milk and so on and so forth, and I've got all the cereal to eat. But sometimes you just got these cravings that, or get these cravings that just come out of nowhere. So I'm gonna pause this. I'll be right back. I was also worried that they had expired. I don't know why. I just started thinking about it. It was just the most random thing, and it helps that. I mean, it helps, but doesn't help that I got like 10 hours of sleep last night. That explains my um whatever you call it, my extrovertedness coming back out again. So, I'm usually extremely extroverted when I'm wide awake, which is normal if you are a very extroverted person. However, though, if I'm exhausted, then I tend to be more on the introverted side. And like I was sharing at work, I am not a morning person at all. Like, if I have to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning, it ain't gonna go well. Like, when they're just starting to serve as breakfast, that's when I'm usually waking up, which is about 10:15, 10:30. Not just now starting to eat breakfast and realizing I only have 6 more hours left on my shift. I'm like, ugh. So, anyway, so first, I think you guys should hear more or less how my school did things, and then we'll go more into why it was a challenge. So, first of all, my school did like, let's just do like classes. Like my English class, we had spelling homework every Monday without fail. You had to write all the vocabulary words twice every Monday. And then there was like something else involved with that on Mondays, but I don't remember what that was. Um, Math, we typically went over all of our lessons Monday through Thursday or whatever. The only day of the week we never had homework, thank God, was Wednesday, because thankfully I went to a Methodist school that strongly believed in making sure that the students went to church on Wednesday nights, not just Sunday mornings. The only reason why they gave any homework on Fridays is because they knew the majority of us did not have jobs and figured, well, they can get homework done tonight and Saturday, but they didn't give us too much to the point where it would prevented us from going to church on Sunday. Not to mention, they knew that these guys also didn't go to not just didn't always go to church necessarily, but also um, would go home on Sunday afternoon and not have anything to do. But they didn't want to overdo it because they also knew some of us did have jobs too. So, and you know, at the end of the day, they want to make sure we enjoyed our weekend. They really prioritized the whole, you know, you come to school to do the 75% of your education in the classroom, and then 25% of it actually went home with you, which I really liked about that school a lot. And then, of course, Friday was always spelling test day, so that was always a fun day. And of course, I'm being slightly sarcastic on that. Um, some of my classes did tests at the end of every chapter, which usually we finished a chapter once every 2 weeks to once every 3 weeks, give or take. And then we would have a test. Um, Unlike college, you were basically given the entire class to do the test, but you still had to stay there the entire class, if I remember correctly. I mean, we might have been able to leave, but we're talking a long time ago. So I don't remember offhand extremely well what the situation was. So it's one of those things. It's hard to say, but for me, it was very difficult to always want to focus on that. Being an AV student because I remember distinctly when I got to my senior year of high school. Besides the fact that most students develop senioritis bad. I mean, really bad by their senior year. Um, I also noticed that the goofing off just seemed to be getting worse and worse every single year. I don't know what that was all about, but I'm just literally sitting there. I'm trying to take advantage of the fact that um, because I was in two math classes, and near the end of the year, they would try to make sure that we're not getting burnt out or anything. So they would sometimes do like free periods. So like you would still have to come to class no matter what, but they would try to turn into like a study hall. So if you wanted to play board games, you could play board games. If you wanted to goof off, you could. If you wanted to go ahead and get a head start on homework, you could. It was one of those things. And I was taught by my high school principal at a very young age. Productivity was a very good thing, and I strongly agreed with her and believed in it myself. So I was always trying to work hard on being productive, even when I was in a situation like that where nobody else wanted to be productive. And I'll be honest with you guys, it was hard. I mean, there were days when I was in math class and we would get done with our whatever you call it, our in class work, and the teacher had already gone over everything that he needed to go over with us, and he decided to let us do homework for the rest of the class if we so chose, and he hoped and prayed that we would, and I felt like I was one of the only ones in the class that actually seemed to care, that actually was taking the opportunity to go ahead and get homework done. So that way, like, say for example, it was Monday and the homework was due Tuesday or Wednesday, I could just come back in on Tuesday or Wednesday and just hand in my homework, and that gave me the time to go home and take care of other homework assignments that I didn't necessarily get done during class, or even better, go home and study, which is something I definitely cannot do in the classroom environment. So that was really beneficial. And I'll tell you guys, it was hard because, first of all, there's all these distractions going on all around you. How can you focus? I mean, really. So, I was very frustrated and I was like, oh my word. So that kind of thing. And then, when I did get home, sometimes I was kind of burnt out, and we got off at 2:15 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, except for early release days. We got off at 12:15 or 12 o'clock, whatever. No, it was 11. Sorry. We got off at 11. You only went in for 3 hours. That was like the easiest day ever. You can't disagree with that. And we would well, sorry, let me start over. When I would go in for my full day, I would walk our bike ride to school, and then I go from one class to another, like any other high school student would do. And I had this big backpack with me, and I tried to have everything in order so that way it was easy for me to pull out what I needed for the next class quickly and I try to stay well supplied. I always had plenty of pencils and pens. People started borrowing supplies from me because they were coming unprepared, and I wasn't, and I was coming prepared. So that's what I was trying to say. So actually, let me check this. See, oh, good, it's done charging. Well, that's good. Well, that make it easier, so I don't have to keep turning around all the time. So I can just check right here now. So anyway, when I did get to the end of the day, normally if I bike rode, I would just go ahead and head to the garage, go pull out my bike. It was more or less a gym and a storage unit than anything. And then I make sure I close up the garage after I was done in there, and I head home. And I didn't always get started on homework right away because I get home about 3 o'clock. So I would take that time to have a little time to myself, whether that was eating a light snack since I hadn't eaten since 12 o'clock. And I've always, especially with how much I was exercising, I needed the extra fuel. And I'm a big guy on top of that. Not as big as my brother, but I'm still a big guy. And no offense about that. So, I would start watching movies or TV. And then finally, about just before my mom would get home, I go, okay, I don't want her to think I've been goofing off this entire time. Because I was living with my parents at the time. So I would go ahead and I would start working. So I would either start working on stuff that I knew needed to be typed out. I got permission to type out my spelling homework because that made it my life easier. Um, and then I would try to save all my studying for last. So I try to study a little bit each day. Um, Another thing that was really hard for me about being an AB student, sometimes the science teacher was the biggest supporter of this, was doing these study halls or study group sessions. So the day before a big test, doesn't matter what the test was, she would invite whoever wanted to come, and she would go over the test for the next day. Like she would I'll just tell you guys a little secret. 9 times out of 10, she actually had the test right there, and she would allow us to take notes from the test. We obviously couldn't bring the notes with us to the test. That would have been cheating. But we were allowed to show up the day before and take notes based off of the test. So not only was I studying a little bit each day for this test, especially right after we finished reading the chapter, because that was something else I was doing. Not only was I reading the chapter, but I was also going back and kind of not necessarily rereading it over, which yes, I was, but I would also go back and I would like type or write down important information like bold or whatnot, and then I would go back and I just study it and study it and study it and memorize it. And then I would also show up for the study hall sessions, and everybody would bring snacks with them. The teacher would bring snacks, and these lasted up to 2 hours. And yes, it felt like I was sacrificing a big part of my day, but I remember when I was in anatomy, and I don't remember, I think it was my 10th grade year, my very first year. It was one of the final tests. I showed up to the study group session, and she literally gave us all the answers to the test the day before. So I came back the next day. The teacher had the biggest smile on her face because she saw me light up when I saw that test. And everybody else was like, I don't know this. And of course, they were all too busy cutting the fool the day before, thinking, this whole test was a big joke. And the day before, I had that concerned look on my face like, I'm not ready, but, God, please be there with me. And it was hard. I wanted to personally throw in the towel and give up because everybody else had given up. But I didn't because God didn't allow me to give up. I came back the next day. I was prepared. I was confident. I had a completely different outlook and perspective on everything because of the fact that I had gone to that study hall. And everybody else at that point was like, well, I screwed up. And I'm like, well, whose fault is that? So, yeah, it was an interesting time. I ended up getting I don't know if I got 100% on that final, but I got an A plus. I do remember that much. I might have been in 100, but I really don't remember. And it was a hard test because literally it was I remember one diagram for sure. There was a picture of the human body. You had to, and it had a bunch of lines. So it was like pointing to like this part, this muscle, and then it had like a place where you could like write down what muscle that was. And there was like 50 muscles you had to label. And I knew every single one because I had gone to the study hall the day before. And I'd taken notes, and I have a very powerful memory. It's always been a gift of mine from God. And it was still fresh in my memory from the day before, so I was like, I remember this. And I'm just like labeling each one. I'm like, I remember this, I know this. And everybody else is like, because you want to bet that none of them at home and actually studied. Or one of my favorites, I heard this one student say, I did a cram session. I just studied for an hour like last night. That was my personal favorite excuse. Probably stayed up from like 11 p.m. to midnight, crashed, got like 7.5 hours of sleep. Mommy took them to school the next day. You know how that is. Versus, I walked my butt to school or rode a bike. That is, I barely ever got driven. And you know what? It was hard. I mean, whoever said that going through any kind of challenging time is easy? I'm going through a financial struggle right now, but you know what? Praise to God that I'm getting through it. It's not easy, but God's getting me through it. So now that I'm just over the 30-minute mark, I want to go ahead and conclude by saying, you know what? That time I focused on trying to be an AB honor student was not easy. And even though everybody knew that I was an AB honor student, even though everybody knew and saw me constantly getting honor roll and perfect attendance, and I was always being invited to these parties where I was getting honor roll and perfect attendance. I mean, pizza parties. Free pizza parties, get that. Just for all my hard work. And this was like once every 3 to 4 months, I was getting invited to these parties. Almost all of high school, but yet they continued to just be any way they wanted because they didn't care. And I don't think they were intentionally doing it to me. I just felt like they just straight up didn't care. But I just kept going because not only did I know I was going to get free pizza out of it, but because I knew it was going to benefit me in the end of the day. And you know what? I kept this attitude up throughout college too. When I went to Polk State College, I had that same attitude. When I went to Eastern Gateway Community College, I had that same attitude. I didn't get honored and recognized by Phi Theta Kappa by the stroke of luck. I didn't get recognized and honored by the National Honor Society of America by the stroke of luck. I did not graduate with my associate's degree with a 4.0 GPA because, they just felt like it. I worked my butt off for all that. And honestly, you can too. And that's why I've said this before. I keep this in front of my desk to remind me that you can accomplish anything, or I can accomplish anything just by working hard. So, often I let people intimidate me, and I often let people's poor judgment of me get to me, and instead of constantly ignoring it like I should be, I sometimes often let it get it to my heart or let it get to me, and I shouldn't. I honestly shouldn't. And it is very hard because, truthfully, at the end of the day, I know that, God is watching out for me no matter what. And I shouldn't let other people's decisions and opinions on me affect me that much. So, and the same thing applies to you guys too. Don't let people's opinions and ideas affect you. Only worry about what God believes in you. Alright, so it's been 35 minutes. I've spoken enough, but I look forward to seeing you guys again. Aiming for Friday for my next vlog. I'm actually going to be talking to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and tell you in advance. I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys about what it's like being a dasher. I just figured it's time to go ahead and talk more about it. I've been doing it for 3 months, and I will see you guys for sure on Thursday night at the Ark Encounter. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great night. Peace out.